I'm Arthel Neville, and you're in the strategy room. More Republicans like Lindsey Graham and Rick Perry are getting set to announce their 2016 plans. But what about real estate mogul Donald Trump? The businessman and TV personality has hinted several times in recent months he might make a run for the White House. But will he really jump into the race this go round? Talk about it now with Democratic strategist Tisch Sussman and Republican strategist Adam Goodman. Good to see both of you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Adam, let me start with you. Do you think that Donald Trump is serious about running for president this time?
Anyone who deigns to know what's inside the mind of Donald Trump is taking great risk. This much we know. He's a very charismatic guy. His personality is fairly large, and he actually has a message and a reason for being in the presidential field. Not just for Republicans, but for the country. He's a businessman who sees things bottom line. And his message is, let's just get this done. And as we look at Washington today, and we're all increasingly upset by a sense of paralysis by our nation's leaders, you see someone like Donald Trump, and you say, well, just maybe this guy as an outsider to the process can get something done. And that's what makes him interesting and exciting in a Republican primary field that's becoming more interesting and diverse by the day.
Emily, do you agree that Donald Trump can perhaps provide some, really good points to whichever side of the fence you sit on?
I think Adam may be being a little generous with the seriousness of the race that Donald Trump is likely to run. I think he likes a lot of attention. He's a big character guy. He had bottled water. He has some golf courses. Sure, why not run for president? He does get a lot of attention when he does it. I think the thing that is actually dangerous for Republicans in a primary with Trump in it is that the things that he says are very outlandish and they get a lot of attention and they take a sort of a bit of a ridiculous angle. But when they're positions that other Republican candidates want to also take, they've already become ridiculous by the way that Trump was framing them. In the last cycle, he hammered down on that Obama's birth certificate. He wanted to see it, and he went so far, it was to the point of absurdity. So any Republican candidate that also wanted to take that position, then by default ended up aligning themselves with him in that way.
So Adam, you already listed some of the pros of having Donald Trump involved, having ideas to contribute, again, to either side of the fence, however you're going to look at it. But Emily just highlighted some of the cons. Do you see any cons to Donald Trump getting into the race?
Well, I think first of all, I think having a broad conversation within the Republican primary is good, not just for Republicans, but for the country, and eventually nominating a leader who can really bring it. With that said, Donald is clearly a pro when it comes to The Apprentice. But when it comes to politics, maybe he's too much of The Apprentice and not seasoned enough in the minds of enough Americans and Republicans, I guess, initially, to be the nominee of this party. With that said, I think the willingness of Republicans to have a broad-based conversation with the likes of not just Donald Trump, possibly Bobby Jindal, the governor from Ohio, John Kasich, Rick Perry, et cetera, is a really important thing at a time when people are looking for leadership. They're looking to see how they feel about you might call the audition, which is really the nomination process. And I think the more the better. Is he likely to win? No. Is he important as a part of the conversation in terms of driving an agenda that eventually America can maybe buy into? Possibly.
So Adam, let me jump in. Give me 20 seconds on this answer. You refer to it as a, quote, audition. So do you think that Donald Trump could actually do well in early primary states?
Well, I think he really knocked him dead at CPAC. He's done well in Iowa. It's possible he can have some traction in the earlier states. The tougher thing, Arthel, is to try to see a path to victory for someone like Donald, as opposed to a path to enhancing his brand all over again, which is not necessarily a bad thing to do for him or for the party.
Emily, you get the last 30 seconds.
I think Donald Trump is in this for Donald Trump. We've already heard reports that in Iowa he's encouraging supporters by inviting them onto his private plane with him. He is in this for himself. I do agree that there should be a broad-based conversation, and I think that it is certainly helpful, especially to move ideas forward. I think that he is more amusement than policy creator.
Emily, Adam, thanks to both of you. And you can check out foxnews.com for more on the 2016 presidential race. I'm Arthel Neville. Thanks for watching.